Welcome back to Wall again, and on this video I'm going to be reviewing Creed's debut album, My Own Prison. Released in 1997, debut album by the band. It sold over 7 million units to date, and it went to number 22 in the US Billboard charts when it was released, but since then it's gone 6 times platinum in the US, 3 times platinum in Canada, and 3 times platinum in New Zealand. Released through Wind Up Records and produced by John Kerswig. It was recorded at Creation in Miami and the Kitchen Studio in Tallahassee, Florida. So the band lineup for this one was Scott Stapp on vocals, Mark Tremonti on lead guitar and rhythm guitar and backing vocals. On bass was Brian Marshall, and on drums was Scott Phillips. So style of this album, it's considered a post-grunge album, and I think Creed were probably the forerunners in post-grunge. I suppose the late 90s had come, and at that stage a lot of the big grunge bands were starting to see a decline in popularity. So the likes of Pearl Jam, Smashing Pumpkins, Alice in Chains was pretty much finished at that point, and Soundgarden I think broke up shortly after that. So yeah, there was a gap in the market there, and obviously a lot of record companies and producers saw that there was still an appetite for heavy rock music with dark lyrics and dark themes, and that's where the post-grunge movement came out of. I suppose it then changed to nu metal because Korn took things in one direction. So we had Korn, Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, Slipknot. That kind of was the nu metal direction. But the post-grunge direction, sort of led by Creed, was bands like Nickelback and Three Doors Down, bands like that. So yeah, Creed were definitely the forerunners of the post-grunge movement. This album isn't a bad album, to be honest. There's some good tracks on it, but I think the production is not great. Look, it's a debut album, so this is what you expect, I suppose. It was their first album with a major label. They had released the album previously independently, and it done very well for what it was. But when it got picked up by Wind Up Records, then they re-recorded and re-released the album, or released the album on a major label, and it done quite well. But like, I think this album gets a lot of flack. It's not Creed's most popular album, but I think there is some good songs on it, and I have to say I do like some of the guitar work by Mark Tremonti. So some of the standout tracks for me, Torn is a great track. That's the opening one, and track number 2 is called Ode. So I think they're both pretty good tracks. And then My Own Prison, which is song number 3, the title track. I think that's probably one of the standout tracks on the album, along with track number 9, What's This Life For? I think that's a standout track as well. But yeah, it's a certain type of sound. Scott Stapp's vocals wouldn't be for everyone. A lot of people say he imitates Eddie Vedder. But yeah, look, that's the way the man sings. So he may have been imitating Eddie Vedder, but I think he has formed a style of his own. And I think like Creed are an immensely successful band. They've reunited in the last few months, and they play on the Creed Cruise, and they've also announced now a tour of North America, and hopefully that comes over to Europe. I'd love to get a chance to see them. I didn't see them originally when they were out, because they obviously broke up and hadn't been a band for a long time. So like a lot of bands from the 90s or the early 2000s, they're reuniting now. There's a lot of appetite out there for guitar-based music, and certainly nostalgia is playing into it. A lot of the fans of bands in the 90s and 2000s now, they're able to afford to go to these concerts, and the bands are more than happy to tour and scoop up all that revenue. So look, yeah, all in all, it's not a bad album, probably not Creed's best album, and you certainly need to be in a certain frame of mind to listen to it. But yeah, I was listening back to this over the last few days, and it's not all bad. It's not as bad as some people say. It's probably like a medium or the middle of the road type album for me. So yeah, go check it out if you're interested in Creed. Anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one.